Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to do a little bit of English today instead of maths. We are going to be focusing on a nice little mini lesson that finishes off with a couple of tasks for you to do. And the focus of this presentation is prefixes and suffixes. Hopefully you do recognize those terms, but you're thinking at this moment, what does that even mean? That's absolutely fine. This whole lesson is obviously going to help you remind you what prefixes and suffixes are. It's quite hard to say. Prefixes and suffixes, what they are and what they do. And by the end of it, you'll be able to practice recognizing them and using them in your writing, because they're actually very important to everyday writing. So a prefix is a word or a couple of letters placed before another word. So this is how it looks. You have the prefix and you have it in front of what's called a root word. It could be any ordinary word that already makes sense on its own, like kind, but you can change the meaning of the word by putting a prefix in front of it. So you combine un and kind and you get the word unkind. It's the literal opposite of the root word that we started with. That's what a prefix does. It changes the meaning of the word, the root word, entirely. And here are some more examples. You've got miss, over, re, un, and dis. And you can probably think of a few words already that have these prefixes in them. Here's another list of root words that, again, they all make sense on their own. They're real words, and they can be changed, however, by adding prefixes onto the front. I've got more root words than I do prefixes here, but there are so many prefixes that you can use. It's just a case of really thinking which ones best suit the root word that you're connecting it to. So we're going to try and do this together step by step. We'll start with miss. Have a look at the root words we've got. We've got take, act, appear, play, place, order, and fold. Which root word could you put the prefix miss in front of? I went for misplace, to put something in the wrong place. Again, you see how the prefix changes the whole meaning of the word entirely. And you could have done other examples. Some prefixes actually work for multiple root words, like mistake. You could have done that one. How about over? Which root word would you place that prefix in front of? I did take, to overtake, to go around something effectively, instead of just the normal verb to take something, to take it away. Changes the meaning of the word. I did reorder, to shuffle it around, to put it in a different sequence. How about un? Which root word would you put that in front of? I did fold, to unfold something. Obviously changes the meaning of the root word entirely, it's the opposite. And then finally, dis, quite a popular one I think, but which root word would you most likely put that in front of? I did disappear. Again, you see how that changes the meaning of the word completely, to the opposite in fact. Okay, so hopefully we're a bit clearer on what prefixes are. Just remember that the clue is in the name. Pre suggests that it's first, that it goes in the front, okay? Prefix always appears at the beginning of the root word, in front of it. Prefix. But what about suffixes? Okay, it's the other way around here. A suffix is a group of letters placed after a word. So it's the opposite of the prefix. Rather than going at the front, the suffix goes at the back, okay, at the end of a word. Just like here, we have the root word love, and then we can add a suffix like ly, li. Combine the two together, you get the word lovely. You change not necessarily the meaning of the word, but you do change the type of word. So we have probably the verb to love here, and by adding a suffix, you then change it into an adjective, a word that describes a noun. So making something lovely. Okay, it doesn't really change the meaning of the word, the root word. It just changes the category of that word. Can you think of any other suffixes that you might have added onto the end of love? Let's see if you can spot any here. We've got other root words like kind, pure, help, use, move, grow, and box. And then we've got these suffixes that you might recognize, like less, meant, ness, ing, ed, full, and st. Which of these would you connect? I've this time got as many root words as I do suffixes because I want to prove that you can have multiple options out there. So we'll start with kind. Which suffix would you put at the end of kind? You could put ness if you've done that, yeah. You can either be kind to others or you can show kindness to others. How about pure? Well, I put st at the end, making the word purest. It's not just pure, it is the purest option. It's the cleanest option, if you're not sure what the word pure actually means. What about help? You might already think exactly which suffix you're going to use. I put helpful. You can either have the verb to help others, or you can be helpful to them. Again, changes the category of the word. You're being helpful, that's an adjective, or you're helping others, that's the verb. What about use? Or if you pronounce it slightly differently, use. A use for something. You can make it useless. There, you actually change the value of the word entirely, almost. So something isn't useful, which is another option we could have had. It's useless. Those would be the two opposites. You're unable to use it. How about move? Which suffix could you put on the end of that to move? I put movement. Turns the verb to move into a noun, a movement. It becomes a thing rather than just an action. Grow. I put ing. Growing. And finally, box. Well, we've only got one option, but it would make sense. Boxed. You can box something up, or it can be boxed. Doesn't change too much, but it is a key suffix that we need to be able to remember how to use. Okay? And the spelling wouldn't change. You'd have to make sure that you put B-O-X-E-D. Alright? So the best way to think about it, so that you don't get your terminology mixed up, is to think of what a root word is, okay? Here I've chosen the word connect. This is quite a nice one. That is the root word, and it's at the base of our tree. Remember, the root word is the base on which a prefix or a suffix is attached to. Prefixes, obviously, are attached to the front of the root word, and the suffixes are attached to the end of that word. So, reconnect, that's a root word with a prefix on it. Disconnect, that's a root word with a prefix on it as well. You can tell because they are on the front. And then finally you've got connected, that is the root word with a suffix. Okay? If you're still not sure about this, guys, just go back to the beginning and try and re-watch up to the point where you get a bit lost. And see if that makes more sense. If not, just contact me and I'll help you through it. What I'd like you to do now is to try and identify any other prefixes and suffixes that you can use in your writing to see how they change the effect, because what is the point of this? It's so that you can understand how prefixes and suffixes actually change the meaning of a word entirely. They have huge impact, and they are sometimes only 1 or 2 letters long. So it's worth realizing that they are actually very key parts of our writing. And I want you to try and use them now. Here are some examples of what I'd like you to create. I'd like you to think of a sentence using a root word like thought, I have here, and then see if you can write up a new sentence using a word that has the same root word but has a prefix or a suffix at the end. So I'll give you an example. My first sentence was, the brave heroes thought they were out of danger for now. I then decided to put a suffix on it. I've decided I want to use thoughtful. So my next sentence is, she had never met someone who was as thoughtful as her beautiful mother. So those 2 sentences aren't connected, they're not part of the story. But you can see how I've used the 2 words in different contexts. What if I want to use a root word and then throw a prefix onto the front of it? So let's see if you can spot the difference. A family of curious foxes silently waited for the moon to appear in the night sky. And then I've decided, well, I'm going to throw a prefix onto the front of that. How did the magician's rabbit reappear inside his hat? You can see it changes the meaning of the word completely just by adding a couple of letters to it. I want to see if you can create as many examples of these as possible in your home writing books. And also, if you are ready to take it further, there are worksheets like these added onto our class webpage. Print them off or copy them out. Do whatever you can to get practicing and actually use the knowledge that you've gained from this lesson. Okay? And as always, guys, keep sending me all your amazing work. I'm really, really proud of you all. We all are. So, yeah, thank you for that. Let me know if you're struggling with anything, and hopefully see you soon. Bye!